Yes, 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 or no, no, no. Was Swerve losing to Daniel Bryan at All In the right call? My partner here, he has his take. In the comments, let us know your views. But before we get to our views, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the page. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. All right, real quick for me, it was a terrible call. I think that Tony Khan is just so desperate for clickbaits that he was like, "Oh yeah, look at me, I got my yes moment with Daniel Bryan." When the real yes moment would have been letting Swerve Strickland beat Daniel Bryan and continue his run. My partner here is a huge Swerve Strickland fan and Daniel Bryan. So what was your take? What was the right call?
I think the result was the wrong call. I think that Swerve should have retained against Daniel Bryan. Swerve's a household name to me. Literally, like in our house, we play his theme music. My son does the Prince Nana dance. Like we're big Swerve fans, and also like ever since Swerve came to AEW, I think Swerve's going to end up being the biggest signing they've had. Uh, his match with Adam Page, the Texas Death Match, and this match with Daniel Bryan, I think are the two best matches in AEW history. Um, he has like everything. Like in baseball, you're like a five tool player. I feel like Swerve's like a five tool wrestler right now. Uh, and just like Bryan doesn't need the title. I don't think that Bryan not having the AEW title is going to tarnish his legacy in any way. This was an incredible match, and them putting that if Bryan loses, he's going to retire stipulation on it almost ruins it because he's not done yet, so he's going to walk out with the title, and it dampened a really great match. Um, so yeah, I wish they would have kept it on Swerve. I wish they wouldn't have done that stupid stipulation that gives it away. That all boils down to Tony Khan. I feel like I don't think Bryan was politicking backstage for the title, and they just made the wrong call. And I'm worried it's going to hurt Swerve, and then he's going to go down to the mid card. His feud with Hangman still got juice and some legs to it, and I'm excited for their cage match. But I don't know where he goes after that, and I'm worried that he's going to get lost in the shuffle for Will Ospreay. Like that's Tony Khan's new toy, new favorite toy. So we're gonna push Ospreay and forget about Swerve.
Yeah, for me, I lost all interest in Swerve losing to this guy. It felt like LOL TNA moment to me. Oh, the WWE cast off just beat. And what really works for Swerve is that's the guy that WWE didn't want. They let him go. He makes his name for himself in your company. So like AEW gets all the credit for Swerve. Like WWE didn't see this coming. AEW saw it coming. They pushed him. They did him right. And now you're like, we want Daniel Bryan to win. You know, the former WWE guy. It's like,
Yeah,
what the fuck? If I was Swerve, I wouldn't have signed the contract. And I'm like, if you're going to treat me this way, I might as well go back to WWE, get paid more, and lose to WWE guys.
well, clearly, obvious word is he's getting paid way more in AEW. So kudos to him for that. But it was a great opportunity for this like star making performance. You have him at one point in the match, he drags Bryan over to the guardrail and literally stomps him out in front of his wife and children. The no selling of the Bryan's finishing move and literally shrugging it off was incredible. And you could have ended the night with him standing tall over Daniel Bryan holding the AEW World Title. To me, that's okay. Now I need to tune in. Who's the guy that's going to beat Swerve? Where I'm not interested in Bryan coming out and being like, when I lose this title, I retire. And now they're trying to be like, well, who's the guy to retire Daniel Bryan? To me, I don't care as much as who's the guy that can beat Swerve. Like Swerve's this monster that's you look at the Texas Death Match and he was almost like a horror movie villain in that. He comes through that and then he beats what many people consider the greatest wrestler of all time at All In. So now it's like, who's the guy that can defeat this? Like, to me, that's more interesting than who's going to retire Daniel Bryan.
And that kid spot with Daniel Bryan's kids, that helps them rebuild their babyface homegrown talent Hangman because of his feud with Swerve. It's like
Yeah.
the man that can conquer Swerve is the man that's been feuding with him, that's been on his ass this whole time. It's Hangman Page. And the big moment part that you said with Swerve, it's like, yeah, they think that they got this big moment with Daniel Bryan, and it's like it really isn't. Like we already know he's a star. We already yes, yes, yes bullshit. Swerve, that would have been a star making performance, and it just elevates his feud with Hangman because we know Hangman's coming. So it's
Yeah.
like now when Hangman finally wins this feud with Swerve, what does he really win?
Right.
It needed the title.
It did need the title. And also it hurt, I feel like it hurts Brian. Like if you would have had him stomped out in front of his family, no sell his finish, and then beat him and hold the title standing above him and let him go out and maybe get his neck fixed and get a little healthier and then come back for Swerve. Like that promo leading into the match, how he was like, "You're getting the Bryan Danielson that kicks people's fucking head in." Let him come back and cut promos about what you did to me in front of my children and all this. Now you're getting the Bryan Danielson that kicks fucking heads in. I'm I'm paying $60 for that. Like I paid for this. I bought this pay per view for this match, and it lived up to everything I was hoping for, except the end. Like to me, it kind of almost ruined the whole thing for me.
And I think he knows too that it was the wrong call. That's why he was force feeding this bullshit of, oh well, Daniel Bryan will have to retire. Or the kid stuff. Like, no, 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 he's the underdog. He's the baby face. And it's like, dude, sometimes we don't need that to tell a story. The heel does need to win because ultimately that's going to make the story better. And I mean, him and Hangman, I've seen some people say that Hangman and Swerve is going to be AEW's version of Austin Rock. And it's like, why would you take the title away from that feud if
Yeah,
that's what it could be?
and not even for the Hangman feud. Just why take the title off of Swerve? You gave him this big money contract. He hasn't done anything to let you down. He's carried your company at probably, well, it's a young company, but this is the worst time in terms of ratings and attendance and everything. But Swerve's been killing it. Like it's not on Swerve, so why are you pivoting to Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson when he's almost probably finished up and you have nothing interesting? Like I'm not interested in the Jack Perry thing. I'm not interested in Darby Allin. If you would have kept the title on Swerve and then Darby Allin gets his title match and you put a stipulation on it, I'm gonna think someone's gonna die because of the Texas Death Match and what Darby's done. That's more compelling than a Darby Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson match to me.
And yeah, that's still a fact too. It's like I've never actually went and looked it up, but I've seen so many things on the forums. AEW's hinted at it that Swerve and Darby's had this crazy feud on the independent scene. So it's like again, he's taking away so much from the wrestling community just so he can have Daniel Bryan listed in
Yeah,
his.
so he can say Bryan Danielson was an AEW World Champion.
Yeah, and oh, look at the crowd reaction. It's like, yeah, the crowd reaction. You got your yes pop, cool. But what would that reaction been like if Swerve would have beat his ass and won?
You would have got like almost maybe Hogan joining the NWO where they're littering the ring, or the when Brock beat the Undertaker, like just the dead silence.
Oh, I'm also thinking, not final boss, tribal chief Roman, where it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, this dude's a monster.
and then your next TV show after that, you return John Moxley. John Moxley and Swerve would have been incredible. Like I'm not interested in a potential Moxley Bryan feud when they've already feuded. I rather would have seen like Moxley and Swerve for the title than whatever they're gonna
Yeah,
do.
that feud would have been lit too.
Yeah,
So in the comments, let us know your views. Do you think that it was the right call to have Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan go over Swerve?